When we heard that Marty Baron was coming to the Boston Globe, I think the first thing we wanted to do was vet the guy and make sure that he was who he said he was. And I don't think Marty knows this to this day. But I did call Lehigh University and make sure that he had the 2 degrees that he said he had.
It was sort of like a wariness and a skepticism. How can somebody who doesn't know Boston, doesn't even like the Red Sox, how can someone like that possibly lead a paper?
I think we learned through our clergy sex abuse project that Marty not being from Boston is what made him incredibly valuable, because he had these fresh eyes.
Liev, I think, captured Marty perfectly for that time.
There really is nothing worse than playing someone who's alive. It's a lot of responsibility. It felt like to me, I was not looking forward to it at all. And so I took a train down to Washington, D.C. to meet Marty, and it was one of the most uncomfortable experiences of my life.
He's not a backslapper who parades around the newsroom. He is cerebral and a taskmaster in the best way, with high standards.
What I identified within him was a kind of actual shyness that I really would have never expected.
Marty is very reserved. He leans on the quiet side. In some ways, his reserve and his not being the most sociable editor helped us, because he was unconflicted when it came to holding powerful people accountable, because he didn't have relationships with them that would make him hesitate whether to be aggressive in our coverage.
I gotta say, I think the greatest thing about Marty Baron, and this is kind of the secret to how he does his job so successfully at so many papers, is Marty he's a set of values, and he's very clear about what they are. He's very clear about what he personally stands for. He's very clear about what journalism stands for.
Morality and truth, right? You're not, it's a weird kind of profession where you're serving your readers, but you're also taking the risk of pissing them off. And not everybody gets that. He does get that.
He knew how to preserve the journalism when other editors gave up.
My relationship with him is also personal. I have this respect for him as an editor. And when two editors are running competing papers, you also have it's a very odd dynamic. I very much want him to succeed, but not more than my paper.
He was the first editor of the Globe who didn't come up through the Globe system.
He went to 3 different papers as executive editor: Miami, Boston, and the Washington Post. In each one, he managed to find the story and lead on the story that would elevate the paper. Newspaper editors run their papers through big stories, but he's run each of those 3 papers through the biggest, most complicated stories you can imagine. And I think that's remarkable.
Marty has devoted his life to journalism. And it is his first and enduring love.
We have this joke that we're going to retire together. And because we do so much stuff to get panels together and stuff, we're going to make a living doing our shtick on nursing homes. We're going to do weddings, and we're going to do bar mitzvahs.
The reporting that the Post has done, along with the New York Times, on Trump has been outstanding in the face of all kinds of obstacles thrown up by Trump himself.
Very few people hold their journalists and themselves to the standards that Marty does. It's so important what we think news is these days, or what we believe, or who we trust.
We need to find a way to clone him so that every decent newspaper in the country can have a leader who has a vision, who understands the importance of news, who is disinterested in the bottom line, who wants people to be well informed, who wants the powerful to be held accountable, who wants democracy to survive and prosper because people know what's going on in their communities. And that's the challenge for the future. And if we can only find leaders of the caliber of Marty Baron, we can get there.